Damn, I'm knackered. Good morning. Hope you're doing well, everyone. Hiya, Kiefer. I don't know what time it is where you are, but it is an ungodly hour where I live. Hope you're doing well. I'm got a morning tea. Albon is on track. This is my favourite racetrack. So, yeah, less than 15 minutes. Piastri apparently has set the fastest first sector. Gasly's bunching a bunch of cars up. I wonder what's going to happen. Gasly goes quickest. Bottas is now in front. So 136.77 for Zhou. Piastri's only fifth fastest. But of course, oh no, there's a lot of cars taking a slow lap. And Gasly's got quickest. 2 seconds faster than the two Saubers up front, and we've got 12 minutes remaining. Thank you for the like. Just so you know, we haven't established the order for the bottom 5 yet. Gasly is currently fastest, 3/10 faster than the two Tsunoda and the RB. If you want to comment, please comment, because Lawson's third, Ocon's fourth. Alonso's got second fastest, just 700 slower than Gasly, who's done a 1. Seriously, quick lap there by Gasly. Max is approaching Lewis Hamilton, Piastri fastest. Norris goes second fastest. Hamilton third fastest. We're going to soon get our pecking order for the bottom five. Russell fourth fastest. It's almost like snakes. Noah's Ark with the grid order so far. Both Saubers next to each other. Both Williams next to each other. McLaren, Mercedes, likewise. The two Ferraris and two Haas's have still not come out. Still not completed a lap. And Stroll, who knows what Stroll's doing, to be honest. But we all know he's to go. 10 minutes to go. Just so you know, the bottom five have not completed a flying lap yet, so I'm not written their names down. They are the two Ferraris, the two Haas's, and of course Lance Stroll, who is a mystery of all of his own. So Sainz goes 15th fastest. Verstappen's actually the slowest, but he hasn't completed a proper flying lap yet. Leclerc completes a slow lap. That was 9 minutes to go. Verstappen goes 5th fastest. That should be enough to get him into Q2. Is everyone too tired to come in? You know what? I think I might do a stream tonight. I'll just go through the qualifying order because Tsunoda 4th. Pinto goes up to 9th. Alonso up to 5th. Just so you know, this is Q1, so I am only keeping track of the bottom five and the fastest guy on track. Purple sector 1 for Piastri. To think Norris is not even going to be able to take that McLaren to the final race in the championship fight. I'm sorry. I know I keep repeating myself, but Leclerc. I think we're all beginning to get a pecking order, and it is Sainz and Ocon, although of course the two horses still haven't come out to do a proper flying lap. Though I think Magnussen's finally come out with just over 7.5 minutes to go at one of Haas's many home tracks in the F1 calendar. Got about 5 home races, the 3 American races, Silverstone, and of course Monza. Piastri retakes the fastest lap position. Seriously quick time again by McLaren. Just a shame the drivers and the team cannot maximize it to full use. I mean, half a second faster than Leclerc and a Ferrari. What the hell is Sainz doing? Like, Sainz trying to get a toll or something because we've got less than 7 minutes to go. Magnussen, did Stroll damage his car this morning or something? By the way, I can't read a comment, so if anyone's commented anything, like, just press anything in the chat because I'm trying to see if my chat's working. I mean, I hope I don't want to be rude, but I have only seen one comment so far, although of course I am very, very, very tired. Russell, purple sector 1. Hamilton, purple sector 2. Sainz, purple sector 3. Oh, Sainz has got second fastest. Just a smidgen slower than Piastri. Verstappen up to 4 fastest. Exactly 3.5 tenths slower than Piastri. And that has now brought Bottas into the drop zone. Of course, the two horses, I mean, if they don't get a move on, Stroll is in the pit. I think I'm going to have to type Stroll's name in because I have no idea what the hell the two horses and Stroll are doing. I mean, they're still out on track, but are they trying to get a tow? Because I know it's a lots and lots of long straights around this track. Two McLarens are currently parked up in the pits. They're in no rush. Russell, oh my God. Where did he find that speed from? Bottas is surely going to come to the line because we've got less than 5 minutes to go and Haas needs a banker lap. And Haas is, my God, look at the traffic. How is Magnussen going to do a proper flying lap out there? He's going to have to try and get past Alonso, which he does do quite successfully with Bob. But of course, Hulkenberg has got Leclerc in front of him. And of course, the two RBs look like they're just trading around the track. This is going to be a nightmare to do for Magnussen, but Haas are running out of time. I presume Lance Stroll must have a severe level of crash damage on his car because he's not come out. It's just ridiculous that we have a race at this time of day when, you know, all the flyaway races in places like Australia and Japan and China have already been done at the start of the season. So just put my body clock out of whack. Bottas. Got a Haas up to 9%. Stroll's coming out at last. Verstappen goes fastest. Stroll needs to get a move on. I mean, what's been going on with him? I mean, I know we can always ask what's going on with Stroll in general, but 2 minutes to go, mate. You need to get a move on. He's only got, I mean, to be honest, I think when he crosses the start-finish line, I think he'd be best to, I mean, he's got to probably do a flying lap, to be honest, because it's probably going to have to take about 50 seconds before he reaches the start-finish line, or at least 60 seconds, which leaves him just about 30 seconds to complete one flying lap. Stroll, what can you say about the bloke? So that's Lawson of RB in trouble, Perez in trouble as per usual. Colin Pinto in a drop zone, Bottas in a drop zone, and of course I think Bottas and Colapinto are fairly expected to be there, to be honest, because of the pace of their car. Lawson and Perez need to pull their finger out. Having said that, Albon's already 15th and Alonso's 14th. 13th is Tsunoda. And Stroll, 50 seconds to go, mate. You are in deep trouble, man. What a gaggle of cars to get past. You're going to have to back off and your tyres are going to have to lose temperature because Russell set purple 6 and 1, by the way. If anyone's watching, please comment because I don't know whether my chat's working, but it's probably going to be one of the lowest views I ever get for this live stream because of how early it is. Verstappen's pitted, no need to push. So there's a yellow flag on track. Hamilton. Oh my god. Two Mercedes are trading fastest times. Bottas. Perez has got himself out of trouble. Oh, Perez is back in trouble again. Stroll flies past his teammate to 14, 15 and 16. Perez is probably knocked out along with Alonso, Albon and Bottas. What can Stroll do? Lawson is on the bubble. Stroll, nope, he's slowest. Oh, all that waiting and he ended up with the slowest lap. And of course, both Aston Martins are out of the session. Stroll, despite waiting until the end of the session, was only just over 2 tenths slower than Alonso. So I think it's pretty safe to say Aston Martin have checked out this season because, let's be honest, they're not even trying to even like push in qualifying anymore. Session over for Q1. Oh, I got bloody fried egg after this. We're doing well. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Bottas. Zhou, 14. That's impressive, actually. It was well over 3 times faster than Bottas, and I have to say, I don't know what to say. I mean, he's not got a seat for next year. He looks like he'll be a Ferrari reserve driver, but I'll say it. Pretty impressive qualifying effort, but that's not going to save his F1 career. Magnussen 13th, Hulkenberg 11th, 12th, Ocon, 8th, Gasly, 9th, Colapinto, 10th, Tsunoda, 15th, Lawson, 9th, 10th, slower than Russell. Pack is really close now in terms of qualifying pace, and for Perez, he was over 8 tenths slower than Verstappen. And was in the past, he probably would have been able to get away with something like that with the club pack. with the cost cap closing the pack up. Yeah. How long can Perez realistically stay at Red Bull? Lawson has been given a steer on Red Bull's plans for him, but said he is still waiting for it to be confirmed. So apparently Liam Lawson has been given an update on his own situation, but Perez believes he's getting close to being on the front foot again. But he's at Q1, so I don't even know why I'm reading out these headlines. Perez will be using the updated floor that Max Verstappen has been using in recent races. Interesting. I think it's time to get on with Q2 because $40 minutes ago went to Q2. Just Bottas, Albon, Stroll, Alonso, Perez all out. Because Stroll did his flying lap on the last minute as well, so bit of an asterisk next to his name, but Purple sector 1 by Russell. Track temperature is 13.7 degrees Celsius. It is literally now about practically 10 o'clock night time in Las Vegas, and the air temperature is just 11.6. It's not very warm, but then, of course, the weather in the UK is literally freezing with, of course, the snow outside. But, you know, I can tell you right now, I would still rather would be in Vegas than where I'm living, because Britain, I mean, the snow has come very early this year for Britain. Russell, Verstappen are coming to the line. I wonder what their lap time will be. Verstappen goes fastest, 139.6, but Russell immediately pinches the fastest time with a Zhou goes second fastest. Hulkenberg. That gave me a wake up. I will be filling in the bomb for the next bomb 5 when we have more cars completing a lap. Colin Pinto's 4th fastest provisionally. Leclerc's heading for the pits already. Don't know what's going on at Maranello. Ocon heads for the line. What will his lap time be? It's only 7th fastest. But of course, oh yeah, it's a banker lap. Hamilton fastest. All weekend, Hamilton's been talking about how he didn't want to be back at Mercedes after Brazil. Verstappen, second quickest. Piastri, second fastest now. Only 1,000 slower than Hamilton. Lap times are tumbling. Russell heads for the pits. Leclerc's headed back out again with along with his teammate. Ferrari to get a move on. Thank you for 4 viewers. I hope you're doing well. Obviously, it is very early where I am. It's like 7:30 in Europe from what I know, 6:30 here in the UK. As for people in Asia, I mean, it should be a very nice time for you because it should be literally afternoon for people in Asia, Japan, China, Saudi Arabia. It should be getting close to evening for Australians. This is a very nice time to watch a race if you're in Australia right now. Hamilton's gone to the pits. Yep, I'm in the afternoon. Yep, I know you all. That's why you're all lively and I'm all knackered. I mean, they must be like, let me calculate, 16 hours ahead of Las Vegas, wherever you are. Only the 2 Ferraris have not completed a lap yet. I hope you can comment something, Kiefer, because a lot of my usual viewers are not here today. You're the only person that's commented, so 8 minutes remaining. I suppose the fact it is qualifying on a Saturday morning or Friday night, as it is in America, is not exactly ideal for viewing times for F1. Ocon, Lawson, Zhou in the drop zone as expected. Ferrari need to get a move on. 7 minutes remaining. Hamilton slipstreaming, Sainz down the straight, heading into turn 14. Gasly into the pits. Hamilton's using new soft tyres, for those of you wondering. Oh, the track is temperature's gone up to 14 degrees Celsius. Verstappen making absolutely sure that he makes it to Q3. Of course, he is about a second above the drop zone now in terms of his fastest lap. McLaren Sainz need to get a move on. We've got 6 minutes remaining for the boys in red from Maranello. Scooter rear Ferrari, if you're wondering who I'm talking about. Leclerc and Sainz. So they threw the cars on track, so of course they've picked a perfect moment to do a flying lap, but Leclerc does need to navigate Verstappen, who is on a slow down lap, while Sainz is going to try and get a toe off Hamilton and Russell in front of him. Russell's done a purple sector 1 and a purple sector 2. Mercedes are looking very, very swift this weekend around here in Vegas. Norris is heading out onto the track. Asian people rate Kimi very highly, yes. Well, I don't know, 5 minutes ago, I know Kimi's very popular in Asia. Well, Sainz goes 5th fastest, and now Colin Pinto's in the drop zone. And knowing he's Zhou in the drop zone, he looks like he's going to be dropping out of full-time racing altogether at the end of this season, of course. The 2 Ferraris finally completing a flying lap. Here is the 11th to 15th. Zhou is in the drop zone as expected. Lawson, the 2 Alpines are Colin Pinto. No surprises, to be honest. Piastri's only less than 8 tenths slower than Russell, who, oh my god, what a lap that is. Mercedes are absolutely flying. And now we've got a gaggle of cars coming out. The 2 RBs, the 2 Alpines, and Colin Pinto all out on a flying lap, along with Zhou. Of course, the 2 horses are sitting in the pits. Interesting strategy once again from the local team. Two McLaren's out of the pits as well. They're getting a bit worried. 5 meters later, braking for Sainz. Where's the target to be hit? Well, trying to find a braking point around this track is pretty hard because it is a street track. No real reference points because no one ever does any testing at this track. Clock is ticking. It's only 3 minutes to go now. The 2 Mercedes. Why are the 2 Mercedes still out? Is track evolution going to change dramatically because the track temperature's now dropped to 13.8 degrees Celsius. The 2 horses have head out. They probably need to get a move on because, of course, Gasly, Ocon, Colin Pinto, Lawson, and Zhou all trying to do a flying lap, but they're all trying to find space on the racetrack. It is a bit tight in certain spots. Oh my god. They're all on the same straight. This is so weird to watch. Everyone is bunching up. Are they trying to get slipstream? Trying to get a draft to improve their straight line speed? It does seem very tactical the way everyone's driving. I don't know why the two Mercedes are still out. Surely you should be heading back to the pits because they, unless what's it, track evolution, it is that good around here. Then I mean, the first and second, Russell and Hamilton. Verstappen has pitted. He's happy with what he's done. He's got a 0.58 second buffer to Gasly, who's in 11th place. Thirty seconds remaining. Russell, Hamilton are still going around the track. Norris trying to really, I don't know whether they're trying to warp, like, scrub their tyres in more, but get more data is a bit. I mean, it's a purple sector 1 for Hamilton, purple sector 2 for Russell. I'm not really sure why they've stayed out, considering they are the first and second fastest in this session, and they are probably, honestly, should be through to Q3. I mean, Norris has pitted, so Hamilton goes fastest. Hulkenberg goes to 7th. Sainz goes P2. I think Lawson, Tsunoda. Oh, we've hit the 0 mark. Tsunoda, Lawson. Let's see their lap times. Who's going to come out? Which way? Tsunoda goes to 7th. Zhou's gone to 11th. Magnussen's gone 11th. Someone's hit the wall. Well, the Pinto's hit the wall, folks. I think that'll be it. So that provisionally should be Ocon, Magnussen, Zhou, Colapinto, and Lawson out of Q2. Hulkenberg goes through to Q3. Norris very close to being eliminated, but to be honest, it was never in danger. Tsunoda's in 8th. Also goes to Q3. Gasly, 4th fastest. Just 3 tenths slower than Hamilton in 4th. What a turnaround for Alpine. Fantastic work there by Alpine. Colapinto. Well, he's going to be starting 14th. and Williams will have a huge repair job tonight and for the rest of tomorrow, since of course the race doesn't start until like 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, depending on the time difference between Las Vegas and the rest of the world. I've got no idea. Williams are going to have a huge repair job, and that's the last thing Williams needed, because of course Colapinto was brought in specifically not to crash the car, and that's exactly what he's done. That will not do his reputation any good in F1. Sorry, Franco, that will not put a smile on James Bowser's face. That will be putting a huge grimace on his face. I think it is basic. I know there's a big yellow flag waving at the track, but it is basically a red flag, and Esteban Ocon has been summoned to the weighbridge. He is fine, obviously. Lots of debris on the track, so we will be having a delay until Q3. That is your Bob 10, by the way, folks. Of course, the times will reset for Q3. And of course, we will have a bit of delay because obviously the debris from Colapinto's crash on the start-finish straight will take a bit of time to clear up. And the officials and marshals do not want to be putting drivers in danger. Ocon was just 6.5 seconds, 0.65 seconds slower than Hamilton. Just 6.5 tenths slower than Lewis Hamilton's fastest lap. So, I'll say the times are very close, and Zhou Guan Yu, who is obviously in the slowest car on the grid at Sauber, was 0.999 seconds slower than Hamilton. So, really close lap times. Hamilton admits early Mercedes exit wish after surprise radio message. I think we're going to have to wait at least 10 minutes to clear up the damage. 10, 15 minutes. No, there'll be no rush, obviously. I don't know what time it is where you are in the world. It's very early in the morning here in Britain and Europe, and most of Africa, obviously. It's getting close to lunchtime in the Middle East, and of course it is basically approaching tea time in East Asia, and of course it is pretty much approaching evening in Australia and New Zealand. I mean, as for North America and South America, I think people are either going out partying, or if they're not the type of person who likes the nightlife, they're going to sleep right now. And of course, Q3 will begin soon. Please wait. Just so you know, is now the battle for pole position for tomorrow's 2024 Las Vegas Grand Prix. When the session is over, I will type out the order because it's going to be quite a busy one. I will update you who's sitting on pole position, and then I will finally fill you in on where the top 10 is. And if you want to comment, please comment, because we've got a delay due to the damage caused by Colapinto's crash between turns 16 and 17 on the start finish straight. Williams have going the Williams mechanics are gonna have another treat this season, as they will be doing another repair job, which is exactly what James Vowell never wanted. I'm beginning to feel bad for Alonso. Fear not, Adrian Newey will be joining Aston Martin on the 1st of January 2025. So there's only 3 more races of Aston Martin's fairly mid 2024 season to end. And of course, they're going to finish 5th in the Constructors' Championship because of all the points Alonso has banked throughout the season. So they're not in danger of dropping out of the top 5. Everyone's eyes and focus is on 2025 for Aston Martin. And barring another fluke race like we saw in Brazil, I don't think they're in any real serious danger of losing P5 unless Alpine have something very special under their sleeve. Or shall I say, the high-tech Mercedes team, as they will be known in the next year or so. Norris has already reached acceptance of his likely defeat in the 2024 F1 World Championship. It's not really a news headline, is it? Well, Magnussen and Q2 again. I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, Behrman filled in for Magnussen last race in Brazil, but I think before that, Magnussen pulled off a brilliant job to get P7 at Mexico. Having said that, I think it is a case of too little too late for Kevin Magnussen. He's had a decent F1 career in the midfield, but let's be honest, he's got involved in too many accidents. And whilst I do like the bloke, I think he's just, he nearly got a seat at Ferrari back in 2019, surprisingly enough, when, of course, when Ferrari decided to tell Kimi to leave the team. And, apparently Magnussen was doing work as a ghost simulator / test driver the season before at Maranello. So, but thanks to the rise of Charles Leclerc, Kevin's hopes of getting a top seat was dashed. So, let's face it, it looked like his career was over in 2020, but thanks to what happened with Mazepin and the stuff with Russia in 2022, Kevin had a very unlikely reprieve in F1. Having said that, though, he's never really progressed that much throughout his career, so he's had a decent decade in F1, but at the age of 32, I think he's very much ran his course. Thank you to 5 people watching and the 1 like, of course. I think more people might be beginning to wake up now. And if you are wondering, there is a delay for a red flag due to Colapinto's crash damage, hence why I have the heart sign next to his name, Cole. And Williams will be delighted that they have got more work to do in terms of crash damage, which was always the last thing they wanted. Hence why they released Logan Sargeant early from his contract, but only, of course, for Colin Pinto to add further to their crash damage mode. Since, of course, we are now in the cost cap era of Formula One. How many crashes has Colin Pinto had? I think this might be his first one, but this is like his first like major crash that's like that is going to definitely like need the team to like spend at least like 12 like maybe 10 to 12 hours fixing. And there is always a chance that they might well be forced to withdraw him from the race if they decide that the car is not safe to drive tomorrow. And yeah, I mean, unfortunately, this is gonna did he crash in Baku? I don't remember, mate. I hope someone tells me. I don't remember. Colin Pinto crash in Baku. Can anyone watching this channel please tell me? I have a question here from Crystal Racing and Keith Ventura. Did Franco Colapinto crash his car, his Williams, in practice for the Baku Grand Prix? Can anyone please confirm? Because well, I don't even know, to be honest. But if he did, then yeah, Colapinto isn't. I know Colapinto's in with a chance of getting signed up by Red Bull and drive for their junior RB Racing Bull teams next year, but that's not doing his reputation much good, and he did spin a lot in Brazil. I did remember in 2021 Austria where Bottas spun inside of the pit lane. Oh my god, how the hell would you... I know Roman Grosjean spun in the pit lane when he drove for Haas when he was during the 2020 season. Hello there, Say Regora. Headed to collect my football awards for this season. Congratulations, Say. I hope well, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know whether you're looking at becoming like a, I don't know, a part-time player or become a coach, but all the best to you, Say. Of course, good morning. Well, from where I am, so... Oh my god. Honestly, it's like, I don't know how long this damn crash damage is going to take. I thought it was going to be like 15, 20 minutes, but I think we're going to have to be waiting another 10 minutes. You know, there are still 2 seats in F1, still undecided, since, of course, I know Tsunoda and Lawson are confirmed for next season at RB, but you never know what Herman Walker wants to do. I mean, we all know Bossoletto will be joining Nico Hulkenberg at Sauber next season. At the moment, it looks like Verstappen will become a 4-time world champion. I think the phrase Captain Obvious comes to mind, I'm afraid, because let's be honest, I've already said everything I've had to say about Lando Norris, and, you know, it's not really a mean and vapid thing for me to say that Lando has just really made a horrible job in terms of trying to stay in the championship fight. The championship deficit has actually grown since Miami from like 51 points to about 63 points, despite Norris having clearly the faster McLaren than what Max has at Red Bull. God, I'm feeling very tired. By the way, we're still waiting for the start of Q3. Thanks to Cortopinto leaving a lot of debris and mess on the Las Vegas track. Marshals have got their work cut out as well. And those frowns at Williams will be getting a lot bigger. If you want to walk outside my house, it is absolutely freezing. It's just full of snow everywhere. It depends how you see Lando Norris. If you think Lando Norris is just a slightly above average driver in terms of skill and talent, then yeah, you could say Lando Norris has done well. But if we're talking about trying to sustain a championship challenge, then he's fallen horribly short. Having the faster car throughout most of this season and just only winning 3 times, that is quite amazing. And the fact that his teammate has managed to win twice in that time as well is a bit concerning, because it's not like Piastri is particularly quick over a qualifying lap himself, but yet Norris's racecraft and his decision making is really worryingly poor. And I have to say, Brazil was like a moment where I actually thought, oh my goodness, he's actually worse than I first feared. And truth be told, I think if we're all going to be talking about Lando Norris being a fairly average driver in terms of like all-round skills and ability, then I think you could say this has been a good season for him. But to be honest, as a neutral fan of the sport, I am very disappointed, because let's face it, Max Verstappen is going to win the title either this weekend at Las Vegas, or he'll be winning it next weekend at Qatar, where of course we will also have a sprint race. So yeah, I mean, I'd be very surprised if the championship fight is still going on. It's able to continue until Abu Dhabi, because I mean, I don't know where Norris goes from here. Like, does he need a driver coach? Does he need a new reset? Because honestly, what happened at Brazil really was, quite frankly, an abysmally poor drive from pole position to finishing 6th. I mean, I know the word bottled it is a cliche, but my word, did he completely lose his marbles. You have to take into account who he's racing against. Yeah, but dude, I don't even think David Hill melted quite. I mean, okay, I know David Hill had a terrible fight of trying to compete with Michael Schumacher in 1995, but from what I remember, Kimi Räikkönen didn't fall apart like this in 2003. Alonso, okay, I know Alonso had already won a world championship when he fought Schumacher in 2006, but I'm talking the standards that what I expect. Even Vettel didn't shatter to pieces like this when he was at Ferrari against Lewis Hamilton. I know people gave a lot of stick to Sebastian Vettel, including myself, but it's just a really poor championship challenge. Like, even the likes of Eddie Irvine and Felipe Massa, when they were at Ferrari, were able to take the championship battles against Hakkinen and Lewis Hamilton to the final race back in 1999 and 2008. I suppose this is where, like, you really do need a strong mindset to be able to fight for a world championship. Jacques Villeneuve was nowhere near as talented as Lando Norris when he was racing in F1, but yet he ended up winning a world championship against Michael Schumacher. Obviously, Villeneuve had a faster car, which did benefit him, but his mindset, his willingness to get his elbows out and to engage in confrontational behavior definitely helped him fight against quite a stern Michael Schumacher. I know I said that I didn't want to go on about Lando Norris, but I think I really do feel like it needs to be said where he really is as a driver. Norris has got bundles of pace, yeah, but the problem is he's got no ability to manage that pace and to really like utilize that pace to his advantage. He is like he reminds me sort of a bit like Juan Pablo Montoya when I used to watch him 20 years ago. Lots of speed, lots of flair, but no real mindset, and always making some bad excuses, having a very short temper, making not really focused or dialed in on the job, like, and in the end, like when Montoya went to McLaren, he got absolutely pulverized by Kimi Raikkonen. Of course, I know Montoya's oversteering driving style didn't suit the gliding driving styles built around Kimi Raikkonen's preferences. But, you know, the hallmark of a great driver is someone who can adapt. And not only adapt in terms of driving the car, but adapt in terms of his mindset, ability to focus on a plan, the conditions of a racetrack, whether it's wet, whether it's hot, whether it's dusty, whether it's dry, whether it's, you know, damp, how to deal with safety cars. That's something that Norris has really, you know, I mean, if we're talking Lando Norris as being just a fairly average midfield driver doing his best, then yeah, you could say he's doing a good job, but like, we have to work out what Lando Norris really is like. Because if people are going to because if we're talking about him being a potential elite driver, then he's falling short of those standards by quite a long margin. Sorry, I didn't quite get what you said about Mika Hakkinen. I know Mika Hakkinen took like 7 years to like be able to fight for a world championship, but then of course you have to realise McLaren did have a horrible slump in the mid-90s. I mean, I think this is now what? Lando Norris' 6th year in Formula One, but the thing with Mika Hakkinen is that whilst I know Mika was about 5 years older than what Lando is right now, Mika Hakkinen literally had no problems going wheel to wheel with Michael Schumacher. And he won the World Championship as well, just like Villeneuve the previous year. Of course, just like Villeneuve, he benefited from having a fast car, but Hakkinen was razor sharp with his reactions at the start of the race. And he never ever looked like he was sweating beads of sweat like we see with Norris. Mika Hakkinen is a top 50, top 20 all-time driver, yeah. Although I will say, though, many people do seem to be very, very, very hyper-focused upon Hakkinen's peak between 98 to 2000, because the thing with Hakkinen is that whilst he was very much clutch, like, his 1999 season was terribly scruffy, and he was lucky that Schumacher injured his leg at Silverstone, because if it wasn't for that crash, I don't know whether I know to this day Ross Brawn still believes Michael Schumacher would have walked the 1999 World Championship had he stayed fit and healthy, because Eddie Irvine got within 2 points, finished 2 points behind Hakkinen in the driver's standings. So, and I believe that Schumacher probably would have won the championship myself. So, and of course, in 2000, when Hakkinen had to go wheel to wheel with Schumacher again, Schumacher finally turned the tables and came out on top and ended up winning 5 championships in a row with Ferrari. Was a year later in 2001, Mika Hakkinen announced what would end up being his eventual retirement from Formula One at the age of 33 years old. So, yeah, I mean, this is a thing, like, I know many people automatically see Mika Hakkinen as being a better driver than Kimi Raikkonen, but Kimi Raikkonen has had the misfortune of driving in F1 during the social media age, and the fact that he stretched his career out right until he was 42 years old, way past his prime. So sadly, a lot of people remember Kimi as a washed-up old man. I mean, Kimi left Formula One after 2013 when he was 34 years old, and I think Kimi would have a better reputation amongst the legends of F1. But of course, Kimi was also extremely, excruciatingly unlucky with the mechanical failures at McLaren during 03, 05, and of course, the problems he had with Ferrari after he won the championship, and of course, how it affected his 2008 season, where of course, rumours that Ferrari wanted Santander money and he wanted to sign Fernando Alonso as their lead driver, and he just wanted to move Kimi on because apparently they were not impressed by the fact that the gap between himself and Massa was smaller than the gap between Schumacher and Felipe Massa. Oh my God, are we finally going to get underway? Yes, we are. I think half an hour we've had to wait. Half an hour wait, everyone. Q3 is underway at last. You could go recharge straight away for Gasly. You could leave the engine on. I think a lot of cars must be getting a bit cold with the idling they've had to do. I've seen them. I think I saw the McLarens move out into the front of the pit lane. Verstappen, first one out. Verstappen is getting on with it. The session has restarted, folks. Q3 is underway. Piastri is out as well. About time. Goodness me. Norris is out. The fight for pole position is on. The championship is not over, but let's be really honest. Verstappen has got 1.5 hands on his fourth driver's trophy. Someone thinks that Häkkinen is a better driver than what Sebastian Vettel ever was. Now that is absolute nonsense. That is just pure ish if I've ever heard that. Like, yeah, Häkkinen was a good driver, but I would take peak Sebastian Vettel over peak Mika Häkkinen any day of the week, to be honest. There's no disrespect to the double Finnish world champion, but I think people do see Mika Häkkinen through rose-tinted glasses, because a lot of people do forget about his early struggles at Lotus, where he used to get outpaced in qualifying by Johnny Herbert, and the fact that he did spend a lot of time in his early days at McLaren getting caught up in stupid accidents, crashing with people like Rubens Barrichello and collided with Mika Häkkinen quite a few times, and he threw away a lot of points finishes in 94, 95, and it was only after the accident he had at the end of 1995, when he had a street circuit, that he started to show a bit more composure in 1996. I think another thing that I think allows Mika Häkkinen to boost his reputation is the fact he suffered that horrific crash at Adelaide in 1995 during a practice session, where he spent a month recovering in hospital due to the brain injuries he suffered. Don't get me wrong, it was an immense act of courage for Mika Häkkinen to be able to race in F1 until the end of 2001 after the crash and win 20 races and 2 world championships, but again, I think he might be just a tiny bit overrated. Yeah, thank you to you as well, Say. I mean, no disrespect to Mika Häkkinen, but I think people, just like the way they have, like, recency bias damages Vettel's reputation, just like it damages Kimi's reputation. A lot of people seem to forget what Mika Häkkinen could sometimes be like back in the 90s, and of course right up until 2001. And of course we have to remember, like, although having said that, Mika Häkkinen did have a crash at the opening 2001 Australian Grand Prix when a suspension broke, and it pitched his car into the barriers, and it gave him flashbacks of that horrible crash he had in the same country about 5.5 years previously, and of course I think from that point onwards his motivation dipped horribly, and he decided to quote unquote take a sabbatical at the end of the year. But with Kimi Räikkönen taking his place, there was no realistic place in avenue for Mika Hakkinen to ever return to F1 unless he wanted to join a midfield team like Williams, because I know during the late 2000s there were still rumours that Mika Hakkinen could join Williams, but truth be told, Mika Hakkinen had already gone to the German DTM Touring Car Series and had enjoyed a lot of success there. So, I mean, when you've already won 2 World Championships and your body is not as strong and as fit as it used to be, like, and you've earned all the money you've ever wanted to earn, like, what's exactly the need to return to F1? And of course, we have to remember Kimi Räikkönen, despite not having the same esteemed reputation as Mika Hakkinen, I think his net worth has got to be at least worth twice as much as what Mika Hakkinen is. Because Kimi did spend 20 years in the sport. And of course, at one point in 2007, Kimi earned about $50 million in his championship winning year. Like, he was given an even bigger salary than what Michael Schumacher had ever earned within one season of being a Ferrari driver, apparently. Of course, I know when Kimi returned to Ferrari for 2014, he accepted a much smaller pay packet, but I don't want to be that guy. Hakkinen has 3.5 good seasons. Vettel has 4 titles. Exactly. I agree, mate. Like, that's the thing. Like, Vettel and Räikkönen were consistent for a much longer time than Mika Hakkinen was. To be honest, and I know this might seem harsh to compare him to this driver, but in many ways, he is kind of similar to Jenson Button in that, and Nico Rosberg in that his peak was a very short peak, and of course, with Mika Hakkinen, he was much quicker in qualifying than both Nico Rosberg and, of course, Jenson Button ever were. I will also say Mika Hakkinen never had any notable wet weather driving in his career, so... And I know, remembering watching, like, replays of him, like, when he had a mechanical issue at the 1998 Italian Grand Prix, that Martin Brundle criticised Mika Hakkinen for slowing down way too much and way too excessively, allowing Eddie Irvine to take an easy cruise to second place, making it a Ferrari 1-2 at Monza in what was a very tight championship fight between Schumacher and Mika. And of course, you know, I think Mika did have a habit of throwing out his dummy when something went wrong, like when he had a bad pit stop at the 1999 Nürburgring Grand Prix, at European Grand Prix, which dropped him out of the points, and then he ended up spending the next 20-30 laps lapping 2 seconds off Johnny Herbert's pace, which was absolutely ridiculous considering he was in a championship fight. And because of the pace of the McLaren, he was able to get back in the points, but he only finished 5th in a race where Johnny Herbert won for Stewart. His teammate, Rubens Barrichello, finished 3rd. And Jarno Trulli, driving a dreadful Prost Peugeot, was able to finish 2nd. And this all came on a day when Luca Badoer could have finished 4th, scoring 3 points with Minardi. In the end, Luca Badoer's car broke down, meaning that Luca Badoer ended up becoming the driver with the most race starts without a points finish in his career. And Marc Genet ended up finishing 6th for Minardi, just behind Mika Hakkinen, whilst Eddie Irvine, who had been trying to salvage points after also having a terrible pit stop of his own, with more, in the words of Murray Walker, Maranello suddenly decided to have a committee meeting about the tyres that they were going to put on Eddie Irvine's car. costing Irvine any chance of scoring points that day. But even so, Eddie Irvine did make his way up to 7th place by the end of the race. But of course, the damage had been done, and it has to be said, Mika Hakkinen was a very lucky man in 1999. Like, it's like that season, it was like the role reversal of like Kimi Räikkönen's 2003 and 2005 season, where, you know, in my opinion, and you know obviously what I think of Kimi back when I was really young, he was clearly the best driver of the grid, like, and yet he ended up with no championship trophy. What all Hakkinen had to do was compete against Eddie Irvine, with Michael Schumacher resting at home with his leg in plaster, and won a second world championship on the bounce. And the thing with Mika Hakkinen was that his greatest strength was his qualifying pace and his reactions at the start lights, and his ability to bang in fastest lap when the car was in pristine condition. But apart from that, I don't really think Mika Hakkinen is quite as impressive as if you compare him to the greats of F1 like Senna, Prost, Schumacher, Vettel, Alonso, Hamilton, Max Verstappen. You know, I could even say the likes of Nigel Mansell was a better driver than he was. Nelson BK. Maybe even Kimi Räikkönen, although of course it is a source of controversy in Finland over who actually had a better career and who really was the better driver between Kimi and Mika, because Kimi also had 21 wins in his career, although of course he did have like huge gaps in between his race wins throughout his career. Was Mika Hakkinen won all 20 races within the space of just 4 years of competing in F1, from the back end of 97 to the back end of 2001, when of course his first ever win at Jerez, which was also called a European Grand Prix in 1997, was a gift from him from Jacques Villeneuve, due to the fact that apparently both Coulthard and Hakkinen actually spent a couple of laps holding up Michael Schumacher so that Jacques Villeneuve could have clear air in between his in and out laps during the pit stop. So because Jacques Villeneuve had sustained a big damage to his electrical cable inside his Williams, he slowed down, stayed away from the curbs, knowing that if he ran over a curb, he could easily dislodge one of the electrical cables and end up being forced to retire the car, which would have obviously costed him the World Championship. Although, of course, Michael Schumacher was later stripped of his runners-up finish by the FIA. So, I mean, even at the worst that happened to Jacques Villeneuve in terms of his car's condition in the race, he probably would have become World Champion, despite the fact he had gone into Jerez being 1 point behind Michael Schumacher for the championship fight. And of course, I mean, let's face it, I mean, Mika Hakkinen did suffer that horrible crash at the end of 1995, and he did show a lot of courage to come back from that, though on a mental level. So, I mean, swings and roundabouts, really. We've only got 5 seconds to go. Russell is on provisional pole position. I think it's time for me to actually type this out now. Sorry. I'm half asleep. It's kind of a bit. Piastri up to 3rd. Norris. Norris. Leclerc's gone fastest. Oh my word. Sainz. Gasly second. These lap times are tumbling. Gasly's in second. Can you Adam and Evie? Oh, Russell. Yeah, Russell's taking pole, surely. It's only P5 for Max Verstappen. And, oh, only 6 for Norris. It looks like McLaren have really fallen off an edge in this weekend. I think that is it for qualifying. Looks like George Russell is your pole sitter over Carlos Sainz. An impressive pair, Gasly and P3. Gasly has been cooking recently. Is that real? Pierre Gasly's taking P3? Are you kidding? Only 3.5 tenths slower than George Russell and ahead of Leclerc, Verstappen, and Norris. Also a great effort by Tsunoda. Piastri's in 8th. My God, McLaren have really fallen off. 7 tenths slower than Russell. Hulkenberg 9th, once again, always getting the job done. And sadly for him, he's not going to be able to do these sole qualifying performances because he's heading to Sauber next year. And of course, Hamilton's in 10th. Never did a serious qualifying lap, about almost 16 seconds slower. Don't know what happened. I think he's probably saving his tyres for the race tomorrow. But look at that. George Russell on pole position. And the championship contenders, Verstappen and Norris, 5th and 6th. Wait, has there been a time penalty? Has there been a time penalty for someone? There's going to be a certain fan base that is not going to be happy. I don't know who you're talking about. Don't want to speculate, but yeah, Carlos Sainz in 2nd. My goodness me. 3rd place, Gasly in that Alpine. The slowest car at the start of the year, and Gasly has somehow qualified it in 3rd place. Unbelievable. Happy to go P0. You can switch off procedures, so we're happy to go P0. Are you kidding me? Is this what we call the Flavio Briatore effect? I mean, he came in as an advisor 6 months ago, and look at where the team is. Obviously, Ollie Yoke's taken over as team principal, has also turned their fortunes around. But of course, a lot of Renault factory workers are not happy because, of course, the Alpine will be switching to Mercedes engines for the next year or so. In 2026, I presume, with of course the Vries, Chevron, Renault factory probably getting shut down, which is obviously not a good thing with the current economic climate throughout Europe. Look at that. Look at that. Verstappen 5th, Norris 6th, Leclerc 4th, I think. I don't know whether Leclerc still has a mathematical chance of winning the championship, but McLaren, forever their worst enemies. Perez down in 16th. Pretty much standard procedure at this point at Red Bull for Perez to be so far off the pace. I hope you enjoy the rest of your morning, evening, or night, depending where you are in the world. But look at that. George Russell has taken pole position for Las Vegas. I think I might do a stream tomorrow, although of course I might fall asleep. As it stands, Verstappen will win the title, yeah, because of course if he finishes in front of Lando Norris tomorrow, the championship is his. Guaranteed, because of course he is leading the championship with 62 points. I apologise for turning the lights off. Of course, after this weekend, there will only be 60 points remaining because, of course, we also have the sprint race and the 2 fastest lap points on offer at Qatar and Abu Dhabi, which adds up to like 60 points in total. So, of course, with Max leading the championship by 62 points, all he has to do is finish in front of Lando Norris, regardless of Lando Norris getting the fastest point this weekend. As long as Max stays in front, he's a 4-time world champion. He'll be joining the same circle as the likes of Alain Prost, Sebastian Vettel, Juan Manuel Fangio, who has 5 championships, and of course Michael Schumacher and Lewis Hamilton, who are members of the 7-time world champion club. Of course, we all know what Lewis Hamilton will really say about that, though, because let's not even go there. But as far as the statistics are concerned, I mean, Max has got his right hand and probably about 96% of his left hand grasping that World Championship trophy once again. And let's be truly honest, he is the deserving champion for this season and the past 2 seasons at the very least. Personally, I do believe he deserved to win 2021 as well, despite the controversy in the final race. But, you know, it's not the first time, and it certainly will not be the last time that a championship will be under contention. Felipe Massa is still angry about 2008 with the Singapore crash by Piquet which caused the safety car, which allowed, of course, Fernando Alonso to win the race, which, of course, also caused, well, it didn't cause Ferrari to have a fuel jam, but, I mean, it did. I mean, the timing of Ferrari's fuel rig jam was very, very costly for Felipe Massa, and, of course, I would personally argue Felipe Massa could have actually pushed a lot harder. Hamilton's had his lap to need to get. Yeah, I mean, Kimi Räikkönen could have finished 5th had he not crashed out late on. I mean, Kimi dropped to the back along with Felipe Massa due to the whole fuel rig incident. It didn't annoy Kimi. I mean, Kimi got on with the job, surprisingly enough. And, well, if it wasn't for Kimi making a mistake late on, I mean, Felipe Massa, if he had been driving at the same lap times, he could have rescued a point from himself and won that year's 2008 championship, and I can guarantee you that Lewis Hamilton would have not been able to complain about it at all. So, you know, it's all swings and roundabouts, I'm afraid, in F1, of course. There's also David Hill fans who are not happy about 1994. There's also Kimi Räikkönen fans like myself who are not happy about 2003 because Ferrari launched a complaint late on in the season saying that Michelin's tyres were too big, despite the regulations not stating anything as such concerning front tyre size post-race. But yet, the FIA decided to force Michelin to change their tyres. So, politics and all that, eh? And I'm sure there's Nico Rosberg fans who have a lot to say about Hamilton and his antics over a decade ago. Alonso and fans and Ferrari fans at each other's necks. And then, of course, I know Red Bull were had a lot of question marks over their car designs over the years. Whenever Vettel, and of course in recent times Verstappen's been winning. Politics. Of course, George Russell is on pole position. Let's see if Mercedes can actually convert it to another win in a season when they've been nowhere near competitive enough to win a championship. But they've already won 3 races, twice with Hamilton at Spa at Silverstone, and of course, taken a very fortuitous win at Austria with Russell when, of course, Max and Lando collided late on in the race. And in a season where, I mean, Ferrari, I think I've picked up 5 wins in the season where neither Ferrari or Mercedes have been consistently quick enough. But because McLaren have only won 5 races in the season where they should have had at least 12 or 13 race wins, I mean, Ferrari and Mercedes, I think I'll be pleasantly pleased with their efforts because, let's be honest, their car's not been good enough. But yet, because McLaren keep fumbling points, wins and podiums here, there, and everywhere, and of course, Red Bull have fallen off the cliff in terms of pure performance, I think Ferrari and Mercedes can be actually quite satisfied with themselves. As for McLaren, well, the less said the better, to be honest. I've already talked about Lando Norris to really last a lifetime. I mean, the amount of moaning and complaining I've done, it's mostly because, when you've been a fan of a driver like Kimi Räikkönen and even Mark Webber, where, let's be honest, the standards with those drivers were so much higher than what I've been witnessing with Lando Norris. I mean, I'm sorry, mate, but I know people say, oh, he's a kid. Oh, stop being so mean and vapid. I'm sorry, mate. This is Formula One. This is cutthroat. Like, if Lando wants to go and enjoy himself, he can always go to touring car racing, IndyCar, sports car, where, where he can, have a good party and all that. But of course, we all know he will never go there because, of course, he will never receive the sort of wages the sort of wages you get there is pales in comparison to what you get in Formula One, where you can earn at least $10 or $20 million where Lando Norris is. Hence why I am so scathing in my criticism. And as a neutral fan, I am disappointed by the fact that realistically this championship is going to be done and dusted in Las Vegas, when we always had the potential for the championship to be heading towards Abu Dhabi. Now, I'm not saying that Norris should really be winning the championship at all. And yes, I will give credit to Max Verstappen for the way he's driven and a high quality driving, tactics, speed, and everything he's got. He is the all-round package. But what I'm saying is that Lando Norris should be running him a bit closer. I'm not saying Lando should be realistically beating him to the championship, because let's be honest, in terms of driver talent, yeah, Max Verstappen is head and shoulders above not only Lando, but arguably pretty much every driver on the grid right now, including Hamilton and Alonso. So, but what I'm saying is that I wish Lando had the ability, the will and the capability of pushing Max a lot more than this and actually give him a real challenge like we used to see with Villeneuve and Hakkinen in the late 90s, Kimi in the early 2000s, and of course Alonso when he competed against a great Weltmeister. The way we saw Vettel and Alonso go wheel to wheel over a decade ago, Hamilton and Rosberg. I know Rosberg had plenty of criticism when he was trying to fight Lewis Hamilton, but he persevered and became a champion, and he took every bit of help he could get, like getting a driving coach, losing weight, going on a sugar-free diet, fixing his sleep schedule, and he became a world champion. So, if Lando Norris thinks his level of effort is satisfactory, then all I'm going to say is that if he comes out towards the end of his career and does interviews about how he was unlucky, how fortune turned against him, I'm just going to laugh at him because, with the level of effort he's putting in, like, all he deserves right now is to have the same sort of career CV as the likes of Rubens Barrichello, David Coulthard, Sergio Perez, Valtteri Bottas, Mark Webber, Daniel Ricciardo. It's all teammate. I mean, Lando, unfortunately, could well be turning himself into the new Daniel Ricciardo if he's not careful. 5 years' time, we'll be looking at Lando thinking, I wonder where it all went wrong. But, George Russell, on professional pole position, I will say this, if you give George Russell a competitive car, I know he will actually sustain a championship fight against Max Verstappen. I'm not saying that George Russell would beat Max, but he would definitely give us way better entertainment than what we're getting with Lando Norris. Correct, yeah, Ferrari and McLaren have 5 wins each, yeah. But really, I mean, McLaren should have like 10, 11, 12 wins by now. And I've got to say this, Piastri's qualifying pace has been absolutely terrible this season. Consistently 3 or 4 tenths slower than Lando Norris. It's basically almost like Lance Stroll levels of mediocrity over one lap. It's really concerning for Oscar Piastri. And I think Oscar Piastri is mentally stronger than Lando, but his lack of pace over one lap is like, it's like watching an older version of Kimi Räikkönen all over again at Ferrari, where because he keeps qualifying 2 or 3 places behind his teammate, he can't realistically really like be able to fight for race wins on a regular basis, and it is so problematic. It really is. Like at his level, like it's one thing to get away with it in the midfield where like the midfield, the pace and the lap times all fluctuate constantly, but at the front of the field where you've got drivers like Leclerc, Verstappen, the Mercedes and all that, pushing the limit, doing consistent lap times, it is very costly to be starting behind them. Like the way Piastri is, always so far down the grid. He's got to do better as well. And otherwise, I mean, I know John Cartier said it the other day, Zach Brown will be getting very trigger happy soon. And of course, Lando and Oscar better watch their backs because there will be alternative options. I mean, I supported Vettel, but there's only 20 drivers ever that should be S+ tier. Yeah, but when you're on the sharp end of the grid, I am talking about, you know, you are going to be driving really well on a consistent basis. You can't, it's not like the midfield where you can be good for like 50% of the races throughout the year, like Giancarlo Fisichella used to be, because I used to be a Giancarlo Fisichella fan, but when he got given a top seat at Renault, that exposed him because, you know, yeah, he won 3 races in his career, but compared to Alonso, he had a habit of lapping about 1 second a lap slower than him on a race distance, and that was like really bad. Like that costed him potential wins and podiums on a regular basis, and it meant he was conceding points to Kimi in 2005 and conceding points to Schumacher meant he wasn't even like able to like interfere with McLaren and Ferrari's pit stop strategies because he was so far off the pace. The difference between a top driver and a midfield driver is huge. Like, it's easy to impress against like average drivers in the midfield all the time, like Perez was when he used to drive for Force India and just wait patiently for chances for like mechanical failures, driving errors, and just pick up podiums from there all the time. But when you're at the front of the field, your actual true level as an F1 driver gets exposed, and that's where the likes of Perez and Bottas have fallen short. And as you can tell, it is raining outside. The snow is melting, although it is still very, very cold. All I can say is if you live in somewhere like South Africa or Australia, I am very jealous of you because I do struggle with eczema, and it's like, yeah, I mean, during this time of year, it really flares up horribly. I can't eat anything like chocolate or like, I don't know, any like too much bread. I can't eat ready meals. It's like my skin just goes on fire. I mean, obviously, I'm talking first world issues and all that. Standing in a hall of very good is Hakkinen. Yeah, probably. There's no shame. I mean, this is a thing with Lando Norris. If he is to end his career with just 3 race wins, then yeah, he's had a decent F1 career, but there is but with his huge abundance of pace, it's like you just wish he would develop a racing brain and really take advantage. It's kind of like watching Ricciardo play football when he used to be kicking a ball around for the likes of Inter Milan and Chelsea. If he had the mindset to apply himself consistently in training and really reach the top like Nani and Cristiano Ronaldo, I think he could have had a very good football career. Could have been out there winning multiple trophies in Italy and England and maybe win a Champions League or 2. I mean, in the end, all he's remembered for is winning the Euro 2016 title with Portugal and, of course, becoming a legend at Besiktas in Turkey, which, yeah, obviously is a respectable career, but there's a huge amount of natural ability. It could have been so much more, and I think that's where Lando Norris is currently stuck at. Someone who is unfortunately somewhat underachieving, because you can tell he does have speed in his pocket, but he doesn't know how to use it. And he doesn't seem to be able to apply himself very well. But having said that, he's still only 25 years old. He's still got time on his hands, but in F1, you don't know how many chances you really can have. And like, for all we know, next year McLaren could be really far off the pace, and then of course, I mean, Lando Norris might never get a chance again. So better watch out, because he might never have it as good again as he does right now. He has not got a reputation like Verstappen, Hamilton, or Alonso, where they can get away with like a season or 2 in a midfield car or a bad car, because they've already proven what they're capable of doing. That's not really the case for Lando Norris, because some people see him as immature, raw, erratic. Like, to be honest, his status in the sport is beneath that of the likes of George Russell and Charles Leclerc. So, and the fact that there's still fans who think that if Piastri can improve, he'll overtake Piastri. Piastri will overtake Norris, which of course will be further damage to Lando's reputation. So yeah, time waits for no one in Formula One. I can tell you, if Flavio Briatore was Norris's manager, I mean, Flavio would be absolutely fuming right now. You know, yeah, Lando is right here, but if he really wants to become a world champion, he's got to raise his standards up to here. You know, Max Verstappen, if you saw him at the start of the race in Brazil, when he saw the amber lights flashing, he stayed in his grid box and waited until the amber lights went out and a green signal to appear, because he knows the rules. Lando Norris, the pole sitter, just drove away ignoring the lights because he just thought, well, I mean, do I need to be paying attention to these little details? I mean, that's the difference between a very good driver and a world-class excellent driver like Max Verstappen. Attention to little details. I'm eating a pear for those of you wondering. But yeah, the front row, Russell and Sainz looking tasty. Yeah, Hakkinen isn't a Hall of Fame, but he has managed to clinch a place in the Hall of Fame due to the amount of respect and praise that Michael Schumacher gave to him, because, of course, whilst Schumacher had a fiery angry rivalry with the likes of Alonso, Villeneuve, and David Hill. Hakkinen was always a very nice guy towards him. Never got angry, never like raised his voice, never barred Schumacher off the track. So I think getting like social credit points of Schumacher drawing his like before we see what happened to Schumacher at the end of 2013 means that Hakkinen has a very good place in the sport. But of course, most of it comes from having like 3 very good seasons in F1, and that's it. Because other than that, most of his career was decent, but not great up to like until 1998, to be honest. Fast, but quite erratic and mistake prone throughout the mid 90s, if we're going to be honest. Back when, of course, McLaren used to have like the chevron red and white colours of Marlboro before they then switched to West tobacco sponsorship. Where for me, the West colours of black, white, and silver were way better looking than the chevron colours of Marlboro. Funnily enough, up to like 1996. McLaren had a colour scheme that was very strikingly identical to what Penske had in IndyCar racing in America with the red and white chevron shades. But of course, I think from 97 onwards with the West sponsorship, it allowed McLaren to have a more distinctive livery design. Obviously, due to the ban on tobacco sponsorship, of course, you look at Penske now. I know Penske have actually painted their cars black and white in a very similar manner to what McLaren have done, but of course, the thing is, obviously, McLaren have now just switched fully to an orange papaya colour, so obviously the two teams stand apart, and of course, ever since McLaren's returned to IndyCar racing, they're 2 very distinct designs. And of course, when McLaren had Ron Dennis in charge, they did seem to be quite similar to they did have a similar standing in F1 to what Penske have always had in IndyCar racing. Very professional, very stylish, very well presented. And of course, I think ever since Ron Dennis has left, McLaren have become a lot more fun-going, easy-going, more, shall we say, not sponsor-friendly, but more like less serious, more relaxed, less stern, a bit more, Gen Z in their approach to doing things. And then, of course, you've got Max Verstappen, who's being considered by his old school father. Of course, I know the session's over, but I'm still talking to you because it's now nearly 8 o'clock where I live, so of course, if you've only just woken up, these are the official qualifying results. Qualifying finished over half an hour ago due to there was a time delay between Q2 and Q3 because Colapinto crashed out on his final qualifying lap, leaving a lot of debris and a huge repair job for those very tired Williams mechanics, who will be none the wiser in terms of the fact that Logan Sargeant was kicked out of the team for accumulating too much crash damage, and now Colapinto has now basically has gone and done the same. And of course, Colapinto is a much faster and more talented driver than Logan Sargeant. And you know what? I think I'm going to take it. I'm going to stop this video now. So please like, subscribe to Crystal Racing. Maybe I think the wrong way about Norris. Well, we all have our own opinions. You're entitled to, like, praise or, like, criticize someone. You know, I've always criticized someone like Fernando Alonso, one of the very best drivers in the sport, but, you know, and likewise, I've also praised some midfield drivers like Jake Oliver. So, yeah, swings and roundabouts. So, thank you for watching here at Crystal Racing. And I will see you again maybe later today or maybe tomorrow.